What's going on, YouTube? Evan here with Cloud9 Aquariums. We're doing the discus again, okay? I know it's been a long time coming for this update, but we're finally back on it. I want to give you a little bit of an update on the tank that I've got set up for them now, and then we'll also talk a little bit about feeding. Okay, so currently they're actually being fed. Believe it or not, this is how they feed. And apparently they also don't like when I sit next to the tank while they're feeding, so unfortunately you're not going to see them feed. Now, let me just give you a little bit of a synopsis when it comes to discus. Most discus aren't like my discus. So let's just if my discus are for some reason making you not want discus, then let me just let you know that most discus, for the majority of them, I should say, are very friendly. They're like angelfish. You know, they're great eaters. You know, they'll greet you at the tank, and they're not scaredy cats. Mine, on the other hand, are scaredy cats, and they are absolutely terrified of anybody who comes anywhere near their tank. Now, that's not to be said that I don't see them. I do see them when I'm sitting in my living room and I can watch them from a distance. But for the most part, they like to hide out, and giving them a planted tank has, sure, given them great cover, and their colors are perking up a little bit, and they're eating more than they were before, but they're also using that cover to hide, which kind of sucks when you're trying to make a video of them. So you could probably only make out, maybe you can kind of see a shadow on them. They're both sitting in this corner back here. Right now we've got it's a pearled pigeon blood, and then I've also got a blue cobalt. So they're doing well, they're growing pretty good. The pigeon blood is probably about 5 inches right now, and the cobalt is about 4. Actually, the pigeon blood, it could be almost 6 too. He's getting big. But by no means are they full size yet. And I do, when it comes to discus, they tend to do better in larger groups, and I am aware of that. I do have some tank mates in them which help in here, which do rummy nose tetras. If you can kind of see them, they're schooling around. They're eating right now. Because again, I was trying to show you a feeding video, and it's not doing so well so far. But so that helps the school. The school of rummy nose does help to kind of relax them a little bit and gives them some nice tank mates. I've also got a couple bristle nose in here just to kind of keep the tank clean, because it is a planted tank, and I do like to do my balanced communities, as you know. But alas, so that's what I've done so far, is I basically put them in a planted tank. As you can see, of course it's sturted, because why wouldn't it be? And it's doing pretty well. I've actually I don't know if you can make it out in the video, but I had a little bit of a hair algae kind of going on, so I've been dosing that Excel, and I did a spot treatment. If you haven't seen my video on well, I've got a video somewhere out there that's called something like treating algae, or taking care of algae, or dealing with algae, something with algae. Of course, I can't come up with the exact words out of my head, because I've got enough videos nowadays that I don't really know the exact phrase for every single one. But it's something about dealing with algae either way, and I do talk about how you can treat algae by spot dosing it with some Flourish Excel. And so if you can kind of tell in the video, I'm not sure if quality is good enough, but there's a little bit of hair algae left, but it's all starting to turn pink, which is a great sign, because it means it's dying. So that's good. So the tank's doing really well. It's very well balanced. I don't have any problems with it. I'm still keeping up with some good water changes. I don't have to do quite as many as I used to do, because again, it's a very nicely balanced tank. But I do also, I still do more than a single water change a week, because it's not the same type of tanks as my rest of the tank. So I do have discus in here, and I want to keep my water quality very, very pristine. But they're doing well for the most part. I would love to get a bunch more, and I'm sure if I did get some more, hopefully I could find a couple that weren't so skittish. Maybe they'd coax the other ones to come out. But that also comes down to budget, and frankly, right now, discus are not in my budget. So it's kind of what happens when you buy a new house. You give and take, and I still want to keep them, I still want to raise them, but unfortunately buying them a bunch of tank mates right now just really doesn't, I don't see that in my quite so near future, shall we say. But they're doing well. So we'll talk about feeding and what I found lately. So again, discus right now for me are trial and error. Hopefully less errors than trials, but still lots of trials. So what I've found so far, really, discus are, they will pretty much, for the most part, they'll eat flake food, they'll eat live food, they'll eat lots of things, they'll eat pellets. But what you want to, your main concern when it comes to discus, they do need a heavy protein type of diet. Okay, so if you're doing like a flake food, it's really good to do like an earthworm type of flake food, something that's got a lot more protein in it. So those are great for them. I do feed them a high protein type of diet. I did used to go and feed them live blackworms. Now, the only thing that I want to kind of just stress to you guys when it comes to feeding live blackworms, they're great for them, by the way. And if you want me to, if you want to see them eat right here in front of me while I'm sitting here, that's how you're going to get them to come out. Okay, they won't, they're not scared of anything when there's live worms in the tank. But the problem that I've been having with the worms, not only are they kind of hard to get my hands on in my local stores, I can find them, but sometimes, for whatever reason, when I run out, so does the pet store for some, strange reason. And the problem is that if I've got them on this, constant feeding of blackworms, well, now if you don't have them, they're not going to want to eat anything else. And that kind of sucks. So, Discus can be kind of picky. It just depends. I've seen groups that will literally eat anything. And if you have 30 in a tank and they're super friendly, like angelfish or something like that, they pretty much will eat anything. Mine happen to be a little bit more picky. So I did stray away from those. Another thing with the live food is that you do have this possibility of, transmitting certain diseases. They can get worms, they can get this, they can get that. And I did actually have a problem with one of mine. I lost the discus due to live food. It's up for grabs whether you want to do it or not. I'm not necessarily saying it's bad because I know tons of people have great success with it, and that's all they swear by it. So by no means am I trying to say that it's a bad thing, but I personally have kind of strayed away from that because I found that I couldn't get the same results with freeze-dried foods and with frozen foods and flakes and substituting what I need to do. So their main diet nowadays consists of flake foods, which have more of a protein type base, and pellets here and there, although usually they won't really recognize the pellets in the tank for whatever reason. And their favorite thing that I will definitely give them on a daily basis is frozen bloodworms. Me personally, I actually have an allergy to bloodworms. So, I know it's kind of strange, you've never heard this before. Here's a little side note. Bloodworms. I think it's like 20% of people, or it's some, kind of insignificant type of a percent, even less probably, of people are actually allergic to bloodworms. Specifically, freeze-dried bloodworms. Okay, so the freeze-dried ones, if you haven't seen them before, they come in like a little tube, or a little tub or whatever, and when you open them, you don't notice it, but dust instantly gets in the air. And the second I open one of those things, I will start sneezing for the next 10-20 minutes. And my eyes will get all red and watery, and it's terrible. So, for me, I can't do that. Okay, I've tried like holding my breath and stuff, and I can make it through, but it's, God forbid the one time that I forget to, it's not worth it. So, I don't do freeze-dried bloodworms, but I do frozen bloodworms. Now, am I still allergic to them? Absolutely. But because there's no dust in it, it's great. I can just break it off. I can toss it in the tank. I like to use the cubes a lot because the cube ones I can just pop right into the tank. I don't have to worry about even touching it. If I do touch it, I have to make sure I wash my hands with soap and water immediately after, because if I touch my face or something like that, which I've also discovered, it will blow up like a softball, and it's really great, but not really. But Benadryl is a beautiful thing. So if you have allergies, specifically to bloodworms, Benadryl, just in case you're wondering. So that's kind of just a little thing for you guys, in case you're, for some reason have been noticing that you start sneezing every time you're feeding your fish and you happen to feed bloodworms, or your fingers feel itchy or something like that after you're doing the frozen cubes. That's because you're allergic to them. And it's not, I haven't heard of any cases where it's like a deathly type of an allergy, but it's something to be aware of in case you are allergic to them, just to kind of make sure you're washing your hands really well, and minimal handling times when it comes to that. So that's what I'm doing for feeding for them. So like I said, I pretty much got out of the frozen, or out of the live food, moved into frozen and the custom types of foods that I buy. You can also find these types of things in the stores, by all means. It's not hard to find, but apparently that's my favorite phrase. So I apologize if I'm annoying you, because I've said by all means like 40 times. I'm starting to annoy myself with it, actually. But that's the phrase of the day. So that's what I'm using. hopefully you guys have been watching my videos when it comes to, I just completed a series on dirting a 90 gallon. So go ahead and check that out if you haven't already. It really is a great step-by-step process of how to set up your tank if you want to do a planted dirted tank and have it turn into one of these bad boys. Okay, so you can put all sorts of fun stuff in it and grow whatever you could possibly imagine, and I do all sorts of DIY type stuff, which keeps it nice and cheap. So check it out. And also, new to the scene, if you've been following me for a while, you may have noticed that I started to post a little bit of a blurb underneath my videos. By all means, there it is again. Check underneath my video every single time, because you never know what kind of comments or stuff I may include with the video. Currently, I have just set up a Facebook group that you should all start joining. So I've got tons of people already in there, and basically this Facebook group is just a great way. I know a lot of you guys have been using my YouTube comment section as kind of a little bit like a forum type of thing, a lot of questions and answers, and it's great. I love it. I love to try to get on there, but it's a little bit difficult for me to actually respond to some of them and to see all of them. And I mean, you gotta understand, with the influx of new subscribers and stuff, we want to keep things as organized as possible. So the thing we're doing now, we've got this Facebook group. Definitely, you can keep comments on YouTube coming. I love them. I really appreciate the support. But if you've got types of questions that other people can answer, that I can answer, go on the YouTube page. Just go and look up Cloud9 Aquariums on YouTube. It's in the group section, and we're going to use it kind of as a forum, so you can post questions, you can answer questions, post some pictures and videos of your tanks. Definitely, because I always want to see that kind of stuff. I definitely, especially love to hear stories of stuff that you guys have learned specifically from my channel. That's really great to hear, and I love to see it, and definitely give you any tips if I have some for you. And I'll take any tips you guys have too, of course. We're all in this together. Everybody, this is one of those hobbies where it's always a learning curve. But again, with the channel page, so definitely go on there, like it. We'll add you to the group. We'll get things going on that. And another great thing about that is you can start leaving me video ideas for things you want to see. This is one of those ideas that's been coming out non-stop. Everyone wants to see a discus. So we've got lots of other tanks. I'm definitely going to bring up all the videos for those. We're going to start making stuff so you can see all the tanks I've got, because like I've kind of said, well, actually maybe I haven't. I think I've only posted something about it. I've got 14 tanks set up now, guys. So this whole like 4 tank type of thing, multiply it times 10, now you're going to start seeing a lot of cool stuff. So I've also kind of stretched into another realm, just like I did with Discus, which you will see when I start posting videos about it, which is cool. So by all means, post those video ideas on that page. Like it, like this video, subscribe, do what you got to do, share it. You know the routine. So I hope this video brings you and your fish tanks a little bit closer to Cloud9.